Hey everyone, Dr. Berg here. If you've been struggling with thinning hair, relentless hair fall, or slow regrowth, I have some surprising news for you. It's probably not your genetics. Most people blame genes, age, or stress, but the real culprit may be hiding right in your shower, your shampoo. That's right. Many shampoos, even those marketed for hair health, are silently sabotaging your follicles. They strip your scalp of essential oils, disrupt hormones, block nutrient delivery, and even trigger inflammation. And when your follicles are under attack, hair growth shuts down at the root. Today, I'm going to reveal 4 types of shampoos, not brands, but formulas that actually support natural hair regrowth. These shampoos work by addressing the real causes: inflammation, nutrient deficiency, hormonal imbalance, and poor circulation. And I'll show you how to use them properly, because even the best shampoo can fail if applied the wrong way. Let's start with the biology of hair growth. Hair follicles are living, active structures that need oxygen, blood flow, amino acids, zinc, biotin, iron, and a stable hormonal environment to thrive. When these conditions deteriorate, follicles enter a dormant survival mode called the telogen phase. Growth stops completely, but the follicle is not dead. Research shows that up to 80% of thinning follicles are not gone, they're just silenced, waiting for the right environment to wake up. The scalp is unique. It's the most metabolically active skin on your body, packed with follicles, sebaceous glands, and blood vessels. Even mild inflammation can choke off nutrient delivery and oxygen, causing hair to thin and shed. Shockingly, one of the main drivers of inflammation is the very thing you use to clean your hair: shampoo. Harsh sulfates and synthetic detergents strip protective oils, leaving the scalp dry, irritated, and inflamed. Chronic irritation elevates inflammatory molecules like TNF-alpha and interleukin-1, which directly inhibit follicle activity. Inflammation isn't just a symptom of hair loss, it's the trigger that allows hormones, like DHT, to wreak havoc. DHT doesn't attack follicles randomly. It targets those already weakened by poor circulation and inflammation. Studies show that inflamed follicles bind DHT more aggressively, accelerating hair loss. Meanwhile, low blood flow silently starves follicles of oxygen, the fuel they need for rapid cell division. Hair follicles are among the fastest dividing cells in the body, second only to bone marrow. When oxygen and nutrients are blocked, follicles can't produce new hair, no matter how many biotin tablets you take. Sebum buildup and clogged pores add another barrier. Dead skin and oxidized oils physically block new hair shafts, shrinking hair diameter. Thinner hair is not just cosmetic, it's a red flag that your follicles are suffocating. Stress compounds everything. Elevated cortisol constricts blood vessels, lowers collagen production, and pushes follicles into the resting phase, causing sudden shedding months after trauma, illness, or dieting. But here's the hopeful part. Dormant follicles can be reactivated if the scalp environment is corrected early enough. Dermatology research confirms that reducing inflammation and restoring circulation revives follicles. You can't revive hair by focusing on the strand alone. You need to repair the soil, which is the scalp. When the scalp is nourished, calm, and oxygen-rich, follicles remember how to grow. This is why certain shampoo formulations work when regular products fail. Ingredients that reduce inflammation, boost circulation, and restore barrier function create the ideal environment for dormant follicles to awaken. Hair regrowth is not about forcing follicles to work harder, it's about removing the obstacles that have been silencing them. And when the environment is right, follicles respond naturally, predictably, and powerfully. Now that you understand why hair follicles go dormant, let's talk about the shampoos that can actually reactivate them. These aren't just fancy marketing claims, they're formulations designed to fix the root causes: inflammation, block circulation, hormonal stress, and nutrient deficiencies. 1. Anti-inflammatory shampoos. Inflammation is the silent killer of follicles. Anti-inflammatory shampoos often contain natural extracts like aloe vera, chamomile, and ketoconazole. Ketoconazole is particularly powerful. It was originally an antifungal medication, But researchers discovered that it also reduces DHT activity locally and lowers inflammatory cytokines in the scalp. That means the follicles are no longer under attack. By calming the scalp, these shampoos allow follicles to exit dormancy and prepare for growth. 2. Circulation-boosting shampoos. Blood flow is essential for hair survival. Without oxygen and nutrient delivery, follicles starve silently. Shampoos infused with caffeine, peppermint oil, or rosemary oil stimulate circulation and activate cold-sensitive receptors that increase microvascular blood flow. This isn't cosmetic tingling, it's a biological signal telling your follicles it's safe to grow. Studies show that caffeine penetrates the follicle within minutes and prolongs the anagen growth phase, counteracting DHT suppression. Rosemary oil works similarly, reducing oxidative stress and supplying vital nutrients to starved follicles. 3. Nutrient-rich shampoos. Even if circulation improves, follicles need raw materials to build hair. Shampoos enriched with biotin, zinc, and amino acids supply the building blocks for keratin, the protein hair is made of. Zinc regulates oil production and immune balance, preventing follicle blockage and inflammation. Biotin strengthens the hair shaft, reducing breakage and shedding. When the scalp receives these nutrients consistently, hair becomes thicker, stronger, and more resilient. 4. Hormone-modulating shampoos. Local hormonal imbalance, particularly elevated DHT, can silently shut down follicles. Shampoos containing saw, palmetto, or other plant-derived DHT inhibitors reduce this pressure without interfering with hormones systemically. By targeting follicles directly, these shampoos gently restore the scalp's hormonal environment, allowing dormant follicles to re-enter the growth phase safely. The key takeaway here is synergy. Alone, each shampoo has benefits, but when combined into a routine that addresses inflammation, circulation, nutrition, and hormones simultaneously, follicles receive the full signal to wake up. And that's why even people who have tried every hair product often fail. They've been treating the strand instead of the soil. Understanding which shampoos work is only half the battle. The other half is how to use them properly, because even the right ingredients can fail if applied incorrectly. Most people make one critical mistake. They rush the process, thinking shampoo is just about cleaning hair. But hair follicles are living organs beneath the scalp, and they need time, contact, and consistency to respond. Step 1. Prepping the scalp. Before applying any treatment shampoo, gently massage the scalp with fingertips for 2-3 minutes under warm water. This increases blood flow, loosens dead skin cells, and prepares follicles to absorb active compounds. Avoid nails, they scratch and inflame the scalp, which counteracts the benefits of your shampoo. Step 2. Application. Apply the shampoo directly to the scalp, not just the hair strands. Focus on thinning areas, bald spots, or regions showing early shedding. Ingredients like ketoconazole, caffeine, peppermint oil, and saw palmetto need direct contact with follicles to work. Rub in slow, circular motions for at least 3-5 minutes. Don't rush. This ensures absorption and stimulates microcirculation, which wakes up dormant follicles. Step 3. Timing matters. Leave the shampoo on your scalp for 3-5 minutes before rinsing. Many people rinse immediately, thinking shampoo works instantly. But follicles need time to absorb nutrients and active compounds. Think of it as a mini treatment, not just a rinse. During this period, anti-inflammatory and circulation-boosting ingredients penetrate the scalp, reducing oxidative stress, modulating DHT, and preparing follicles for growth. Step 4. Frequency. Consistency is critical. Most effective regrowth shampoos should be used 2-4 times per week, depending on scalp sensitivity. Overwashing can strip natural oils, increase inflammation, and worsen hair loss. Underwashing may leave sebum and debris that block follicles. The goal is balance, enough contact to activate follicles without creating irritation. Step 5. Complementary habits. Shampoo alone isn't a miracle. To truly reactivate dormant follicles, Pair topical treatments with lifestyle habits that improve scalp biology. These include stress management. Cortisol suppresses growth signals. Meditation, deep breathing, or light exercise can lower chronic stress. Nutrition. Hair follicles divide rapidly. Ensure adequate protein, iron, zinc, biotin, and B vitamins to fuel keratin production. Sleep optimization. Growth hormone peaks during deep sleep, aiding follicle repair. Poor sleep prolongs dormancy. Gentle handling. Avoid harsh brushing, heat styling, and tight hairstyles that stress follicles. The surprising mistakes people make. Many users sabotage their progress without realizing it. Rinsing shampoo too quickly, overusing sulfate-based products, skipping nutrient support, or ignoring circulation can keep follicles in survival mode indefinitely. Hair doesn't fail to grow overnight. It's the accumulation of small missteps over months. Correcting these habits allows follicles to sense a safe environment, and that's when regrowth starts. Realistic expectations. Hair growth is slow, deliberate, and biological. Dormant follicles take weeks to respond, and visible results often appear in 2-3 months, with substantial thickening in 6-9 months. The key is patience, consistency, and understanding that the follicles are responding to their environment, not magic. One of the biggest reasons people fail to regrow hair is not because the method doesn't work, but because they quit before biology has time to respond. Hair regrowth follows a strict biological timeline, and ignoring that timeline leads to frustration, doubt, and abandonment of solutions that were actually working beneath the surface. When scalp inflammation is reduced and circulation improves, the first changes are invisible. Follicles don't immediately push out new hair. Instead, they repair internal damage, restore stem cell signaling, and rebuild the growth machinery that was shut down months or even years earlier. This repair phase can last 6 to 8 weeks, during which nothing seems to happen. But internally, follicles are waking up. Around the 2nd or 3rd month, many people notice reduced shedding. This is not random. It's a signal that follicles are exiting the resting phase and re-entering the growth cycle. Shedding slows before regrowth begins because the follicle must stabilize before producing new hair. Panic during this stage causes many people to switch products, overwash, or add harsh treatments that reintroduce inflammation and undo progress. Actual visible regrowth, new baby hairs, increased density, thicker strands typically begins between 3 to 6 months. This delay is not failure. It is proof that the process is biological, not cosmetic. Hair follicles move slowly because rapid growth would signal danger to the body. Only when the scalp environment remains calm, nourished, and oxygen-rich over time do follicles commit to growth. This is why consistency matters more than intensity. Using the right shampoos sporadically produces nothing. Using them patiently creates change. Hair does not respond to desperation, it responds to stability. At this point, the most important truth becomes clear. Hair regrowth is not triggered by a product. It is triggered by a decision the body makes. Every follicle is constantly evaluating one question. Is this environment safe enough to invest energy in growth? Until the answer is consistently yes, hair will remain thin, weak, or absent. And this is where most approaches fail. They focus on stimulation instead of permission. For hair to regrow and stay, the signals must be stable, not temporary. Reduced inflammation cannot be occasional. Improved circulation cannot be intermittent. Hormonal balance cannot fluctuate wildly week to week. Follicles require repeated confirmation that survival mode is over. This is why short-term fixes collapse and long-term strategies succeed. The first permanent signal is a calm scalp barrier. When redness, itching, flaking, and excess oil disappear, the follicle receives its first green light. A healthy barrier prevents oxidative stress and microbial overgrowth from reactivating inflammation. This alone restores blood flow and oxygen delivery without forcing growth. It simply removes resistance. The second signal is metabolic stability. When insulin levels normalize, blood vessels relax, nutrient delivery improves, and androgen signaling quiets down. This doesn't require perfection, but it does require consistency. Stable meals, adequate protein, and mineral intake tell the body it is no longer in danger. When survival pressure drops, hair follicles regain priority. The third signal is hormonal clarity. Hair loss is not caused by hormones alone, but by how follicles interpret them in inflamed tissue. When inflammation falls and circulation improves, DHT loses its destructive influence. Follicles stop receiving shutdown commands and start responding to growth cues again. This is why local scalp care, combined with internal balance, works when either approach alone fails. The fourth and most overlooked signal is time without interruption. Biology does not reset instantly. Every disruption, crash, dieting, sleep deprivation, stress overload, product hopping forces follicles back into evaluation mode. Regrowth becomes permanent only when the environment remains stable long enough for follicles to trust it. That trust is built slowly, but once established, it is resilient. This is why hair regrowth often feels sudden after months of nothing. The change didn't happen overnight. The follicle simply crossed the threshold where growth became safer than dormancy. When that happens, density improves, shedding declines, and hair texture strengthens naturally. The most uncomfortable realization is this: hair loss was never the enemy, it was the messenger. It revealed inflammation, metabolic strain, hormonal confusion, and survival stress long before other symptoms appeared. Suppressing the message without fixing the cause was never going to work. When you correct the signals, hair doesn't need to be forced. It responds, not because it was stimulated, but because it was finally supported. The scalp remembers how to grow hair. That memory never disappears. It only waits for the right conditions to return, and when they do, follicles do exactly what they were designed to do: resume growth, restore density, and maintain it. Hair regrowth is not about hope or hype. It is about alignment. When the internal and external environment agree that growth is safe, hair returns, and when that agreement remains, it stays. That is the difference between chasing hair and getting it back for good.